What up, Pale Horse Nation? Welcome to the Phantasm Sex Shop. I am your host, Baylor, aka Dr. Phantasm. Here are my friends, Sean and Jack. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
I didn't know you were actually going to give yourself a name for this.
You couldn't tell by the title of the show.
I mean, yeah, I know that, but I didn't think you were going to be like, give yourself like an actual like name. I thought you still going to just be Baylor.
Pale Horse Nation? What the fuck? Okay. I'm guessing this is like because the way I kind of figured it out last night, because I was trying to figure out like Phantasm Sex Shop is such a weird name, and I'm like, oh, it's because it sounds like all those like weird like post-left podcasts like Chapo Trap House.
I did use like I did like take like the noun at like next place.
Yeah, that makes a whole
same
lot of
structure.
Sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, because I was going into this thinking like, oh, this is just gay cum town, so
yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, I'm Sean, and the other guy is Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack.
So, premise of the show: we're detectives, and we're going to solve some mysteries for you today.
Fuck that.
It's like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where they just say like it's about detectives, just so they can have an excuse to put on the show. And then after they put on, they just did whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yep, exactly the same here.
Yeah, I should probably warn people listening to this, which is weird because it's the first episode, so we're just gradually increasing viewers. But the only directions that Goosey gave us was to be funny, which is the weirdest.
Funny.
Yeah, which is the worst thing about comedy is when people tell you like, oh, you know what, you like being funny? Well, be funny. It's like that fucking scene from like Finding Nemo where it's like, oh, you're a clownfish. Yeah. Well, you gotta be funny.
Or that scene in Louie where David Lynch tells Louie, funny, now go, Slick. This is your last chance. Funny, now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I never watched Louie, but I just imagine like that's the sort of direction that David Lynch, like that video where he's like directing children. It's like, you need to be sad. You need to start being sad. You need to start crying. You are sad children.
Get real.
Oh my god.
That's a video I'll never get tired of.
I reference it all the time on the fucking like Criterion forums when people are like, can you actually like watch movies on an iPhone? I'm like, not on the fucking telephone. No.
It's funny. There's this one Letterboxd review I liked a few months ago. It was a review for that Adam Sandler movie, like Hubie Halloween. And the review just said like, this is the first movie David Lynch wish he would have watched on an iPhone.
Oh my god. Has anyone here actually watched movies on iPhones?
I have.
I have only once.
In high school, I watched all of Breaking Bad on my iPhone.
I used to watch them until I got like really serious. Excuse me, about movies. The last time I remember watching a movie on my iPhone was, I think, it was like 2 years ago. I was in vacation in Door County, which I just came back from my own vacation in Door County. But it was like right after I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I decided I'm gonna watch all the other Manson films that were coming out at the time. So I watched Charlie Says on my iPhone because the Wi-Fi was just so bad there.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't really watch it on a laptop. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna risk all the at the time limited like resources I can have on the data plan or whatever and just watch this movie, which wasn't worth it because the movie sucked, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's sad. I heard it was good.
Charlie Says?
The only movie I think I've ever watched on an iPhone was Ed Wood, and that was on the way to vacation one time.
Last movie I watched on an iPhone was Clock Stoppers, because I knew it wouldn't matter if I watched it on an iPhone.
Yeah, that wouldn't matter. That's a film I need to watch because, I recently rewatched the movie Snow Day, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit, even though it's essentially, one of the plots is essentially just a stalker plot, which I think is hilarious. Just that this is 2000s and they actually play it somewhat like that, where they're like, yeah, you know what? It is actually creepy that you just stole this girl's ankle bracelet.
Yep.
Oh, I've never actually seen Snow Day, but I remember seeing commercials. I remember it used to play on Cartoon Network a lot, so I remember seeing commercials for that.
Yeah, a Nickelodeon movie on Cartoon Network. That's really
Yeah, but
weird.
yeah, that is kind of weird. But like they've aired some weird stuff. I remember when I was recovering from back surgery, they played Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like a Disney movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it
I
was like
remember one. I
it was
remember at
also
one
censored too.
Yeah. I remember at one point, for some reason, they just decided to show Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, they would do that. Son of the Mask. The
Oh, they played
flicks.
Son of the Mask. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Well, funny story. There was a point where Jack's dad considered Jack too old to watch Cartoon Network, so he blocked the channel and
I don't
unblocked it.
remember him ever blocking the channel. I don't think he ever blocked the channel.
You told me this in grade school.
I don't remember that.
Oh well.
I don't think I've ever had channels just straight up blocked. I've had
Neither
like
do I.
I mean, there was a period of time when I was 10 where I tried to get into YouTube because the twins across the street from where I live currently, they showed me the Fred videos, and
Ooh.
so I spent the entire weekend just binging all these like Fred videos, excluding the one that was like the actual new video that came out that weekend, which was the one you fucking showed me, the City of Ember one.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah, and then my dad, I was showing them to my mom because I'm a fucking idiot. And my dad was watching it and was like, I don't want you interacting with YouTube because these videos they depict bullying. And I'm like, okay, what? And then when I turned 13, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch YouTube videos.
I mean, Fred videos are not for kids. I don't understand why they were for kids.
Because the character is a 6-year-old boy. That's
Yeah, and
canon.
kids think people acting crazy and talking in like high-pitched voices are funny.
But like there's jokes about child abuse and like alcoholism and prostitution and stuff in those videos. Like what the hell?
Well, that's the thing about like the early days of YouTube is that all of the content that kids did consume at that time was very like adult oriented, but like the way that it wasn't like but it wasn't in mature videos. I would say it's more
No.
immature videos because
Yeah, because the
you think
Laser
about
collection was anything but mature.
yeah,
Remember
it
those
was like
videos?
yeah, really edgy humor that could either be PG-13 or R sometimes. And it was like, Fred was like about broken family and whatnot, which was funny to see how they tried to adapt that to the fucking like
Nickelodeon.
child
Nickelodeon.
movies. Yeah, Nickelodeon movies because they're like, "Oh, we just got the rights to this character. Oh, we just realized that this character comes from a terribly broken home, has a father in prison, a whore mom, and like pretends that it has this delusion that these Pomeranians are squirrels. Like this is not a child's character, but we have to work around it, I guess."
Yeah.
And then you look at the other channels at the time where it's like Shane Dawson and
Oh
like Ray
God.
William Johnson. Like these were
Yeah.
like big with kids, but they're not kid friendly channels. So
Yeah.
No.
Around that time I watched Angry Video Game Nerds and Nostalgia Critics, so
I just watched that 3.5 hour long video about the history of Fred.
yeah, the Quentin reviews.
I immediately knew when you said 3.5 hours, it was Quinn reviews because I let me just defend Quentin for once.
No, I
Why
like some of his videos.
I mean, I remember what I think I unsubscribed because I kind of started to think he was kind of a loser, but like in real life, like nothing to do with his videos. It's just he was like showing himself to be kind of a loser.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do want to defend him because literally every single person on Twitter has been knocking him for making a 4.5 hour long video about iCarly.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Like there is an actual audience for these sorts of videos.
Yeah.
I don't know
Definitely.
why people don't want to like. I mean, I don't want to watch it because it just sounds dumb. But like, it's fine if people want to watch it. It doesn't make him any more of a loser than he already is. So
Yeah, we
Hmm.
all saw those Lindsay Ellis DM.
Yeah, but guess who got the
Yeah.
last laugh in the end?
Yeah. Movie Bob keeps on winning.
Yeah.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Let's just. I want to keep this funny, so let's not talk about Lindsay Ellis because everything I have to say about her is incredibly unfunny. So it's just me raging. So,
Fair.
so anyway, uh, what else did you watch? Like when you were like 10 or whatever? That was like probably not like child friendly on YouTube.
South Park.
Um.
South Park Studios. They used to have every episode.
Oh yeah, for some reason I never like bothered to use that. I always use Kiss Cartoon when I started watching South Park.
Well, yeah, no ads. I understand.
I already said the Laser Collection. I liked that a lot when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Now,
Oh yeah,
nowadays, if I
yeah.
watch it now, it's like this is incredibly juvenile.
Oh my god. And there's
Which is
like
also
still
funny
those.
because they just released ASDF movie 14, and I remember
Oh my god.
I watched those a lot as a kid, and as a kid, I thought those were extremely funny.
I had no idea that fucking like high hungry I'm dad meme came from the ASDF stuff until I looked it up.
You didn't know that?
No, I just because it was just a meme. I just thought it was like some weird like remix of a children's song that was kind of like a little bit twisted. And then I like looked it up. I was like, oh, this is from ASDF, and somehow they're still going like
I
all these years
know.
later.
It's still so surprising how like all this kind of stuff, how like so many of there's like a couple of these things that we've watched from our childhood that are still going. Like ASDF movie is still going.
Nostalgia critic.
Nostalgia Critic, yeah. I don't know if Angry Video Game Nerd is still going.
He is.
I don't know if
He's actually good. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know if remember Charlie the Unicorn? I remember a few years ago they
Yeah.
announced it would be the final video, but I don't know if that ever came into fruition.
I remember watching those when back in 2011 when I started getting to YouTube. Like again, I got into YouTube in 2011, like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like my crash course in all of the memes that had been going on the internet for the past like 5 years up to that point. So I
Yeah.
was like, it was like 2012, and I was still finding a dramatic groundhog funny because I was like catching up to everyone.
Yeah, when I was in like fifth, sixth grade to middle school, a friend of mine got me exposed to like several like of those anime abridged series like Yu-Gi-Oh and Team Four Star.
Yeah. And okay, so, fuck, I was thinking about something. Charlie the Unicorn is one I watched as a kid, and oh yeah, Dom Farah I think is still going.
Which one's
Also,
that?
Dom Farah, the guy who made Laser Collection, all those videos.
Oh, that's right.
Mm.
I forgot his
Yeah.
name.
I don't think Clay World is still going. I watched that a lot as a kid.
No,
Ed's World's still going though, right?
Probably.
I know the guy
maybe.
like who made him died or whatever, but like they said they were still going, like in spite of that.
I think Potter Puppet Pals is even still going.
Uh, I mean, I follow Neil, and sometimes
Yeah.
he'll like do some stuff. Like he did a Harry and the Potters video with Kimia Dawson that had
Yeah.
some of the Potter Puppet Pals. I was about to say, do you guys remember? This is one that I really cherish because this was when I was just starting to get into YouTube. Do you remember the Super Mario 64 machinimas?
No, I don't remember those. I
Okay,
remember
so
like I remember the Super Mario Brothers like world cartoon with all the Mama Luigi and stuff, but
yeah, that was
not not
yeah,
that.
I was getting into that at the same time, but there was also like on the Machinima channel, like the actual Machinima channel, they had these very meme heavy Machinimas of Super Mario 64, like Goomba stomping and like the return of Ouija and all this stuff. And so it would just be cancerous memes the entire time. But
No, I don't remember those.
hmm.
I remember Red versus Blue. I never watched it, but I remember it.
I watched the first episode of Red versus Blue just because I heard all this stuff about it, and I was just like, I can't get into it because they didn't play Halo. So
Yeah.
I
I don't
played
remember
Halo at my friend's house, but that's it.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was I remember a friend of mine back in like second grade showed me the series of videos where it's like Halo characters, but they like dubbed over them to make it like really comedic,
That's
like
this.
more comedic elements.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Red versus Blue; it was something else.
Oh.
Oh, it was a knockoff of Red versus Blue.
I don't even think it was that. It was just kind of its own like dumb thing. I forget what it was called. I think it was called like Halo Chicken or something.
That's weird. That just sounds like a fucking knockoff.
Yeah, it
But
probably was.
yeah, that was the thing. Like, and they started also with those Super Mario Machinimas. They started making knockoffs of those too, or they just like
Hmm.
took videos, and it was like weird to try and find the actual ones. But also because I was dumb at the time and won more of those videos, I was fine with the knockoffs. Like there was
Yeah.
one where it was like a machinima. It would literally just be like the history of YouTube, but like Mario's jumping around, and for some reason to like Soldier Boy.
God, there was so many Soldier Boy remixes videos back in 2007.
Oh my
Something
God.
what tell?
It's just for it's still so funny to think that for I don't know how long, but for a couple of weeks, that fucking song was the #1 song in the country.
Yeah.
I can believe it because of just how when in 2007, like that was the year of YouTube. Like really,
Mhm.
it wasn't 2018 like the fucking rewind video said. No, it was 2007 because it had just peaked because of Lazy Sunday. It's weird to think that Saturday Night Live kind of made YouTube big, but
Yeah,
that's when it really was. Where it was Lazy Sunday, and then it started to climb up, and then all of the memes like on the internet really came from YouTube in 2007. So I think because of that, Soldier Boy really blew up on there as sort of meme song, and then that became like the #1 song. Also, I
yeah,
heard that on like Kazaa and LimeWire, Soldier Boy would disguise his songs and like put them on the platform under different names. So you could be trying to look up like Metallica for Who the Bell Tolls on LimeWire, and you might just end up finding Soldier Boy Tell 'em on there instead.
Awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah, like for someone who has in recent years really failed on the marketing front, he was actually really ingenious in terms of internet marketing. So
Yeah. Migos cited him as a source of inspiration. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say like in terms of video game marketing, like with his bootleg fucking like consoles, like he's
mhm,
failed on that front, except for giving that legendary Breakfast Club interview. But in terms
right.
of like internet marketing, he was a fucking god. So
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does KFC still have that console coming out?
KFC has a console coming out.
Gaming
what?
console? You haven't heard of this?
This just
No,
sounds like
I know they
some
had a
brand
dating
shit.
simulating game.
I don't know if they're actually doing this, but they revealed a console where it's like you plug it into the TV and play a game and have a little place to store your chicken.
Oh god, it's the plug and
Hold on,
play.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, the KF console.
I have a bunch of those
Yeah,
plug and plays,
console.
by the way.
They're fun.
They were fun. They lasted a long time when I was like 7 years old. Like that SpongeBob one
That
where
was good.
it doubles as like a fucking sex toy. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
says here
worked.
after its initial announcement in June 2020, it was widely believed to be a hoax until its official reveal in December.
Well, that's the
People thought
thing
it
with
was a joke for the longest time.
well, I'm pretty sure people also thought that about the Mario Lopez movie, but that's
Oh
real.
yeah. Speaking
Did
of
anyone here watch it?
speaking of Lifetime movies, though, did you see that trailer? They're literally making a horror movie off of Karens.
Yeah, that was released last year. Let me just say this right now. I don't I mean, it looks like it'll be on the same level as like The Haunting of Sharon Tate sort of level of production quality, which
Yeah.
I just found out they made a sequel to that, not with Sharon Tate, but with Nicole Brown Simpson.
yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they have that, and for some reason the cast is like kind of big this time around. Like all they could get for the Sharon Tate movie was Hilary
Hilary
Duff.
Duff.
Yeah, who's very much wasted, which is something I never would say about Hilary Duff, but a wasted talent in that movie. But they
Mhm.
got like Mina Suvari, I think Nick Stahl or Nikki Cat, one of them. And then I forget who plays like Chris Jenner in it, but it's just like it's a weirdly like big cast for what's essentially just a movie about like what if O.J. Simpson didn't work alone, and what if the guy was a ghost? Or I think that's what the plot is.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, just Karen just looks like yet another movie in the string of horror movies just inspired by Jordan Peele, yet completely missed the point.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
even like fucking like Jordan Peele. It's just like below that because it is riding off of that sort of like, oh, if we tackle the current like day, like current times, but it's also with that pastiche of that sort of Haunting of Sharon Tate low budget schlock. So it's not even like the fucking like Oath or whatever. It is literally just like we're just going to it's exploitation. It's straight up exploitation of just being like, oh, we're just gonna take this concept of like wine moms on Facebook being annoying and just turn it into a horror movie. And like we're not gonna address any of those sorts of tensions in America that because it looks like from the I didn't even see the trailer, I just saw the poster. But it
Yeah,
looks like it's gonna be like a black couple or an interracial couple and just like
Yeah.
Karen Manning is Karen.
I think it's gonna
So-
be on BET. I think that's what it's gonna be airing.
nice.
God. Whenever I hear the BET name, I just think Boondocks.
Yep, the episode that was banned.
Every time I think of BET, I think of that Family Guy joke where it's like a nature show on BET and it's called like, "Damn, nature, you scary."
God.
Because
Here's the
Family
thing,
Guy.
like as much as Goosey is a fucking like nerd for Family Guy or whatever,
Yeah, I've been.
I am the
yeah.
complete opposite where I watched an episode of Family Guy and I immediately said, this is the worst show I have like ever watched on television. It didn't help that it was one of those season 4 episodes.
Which one
but-
was it?
It was the one where in order to bond with Stewie, Peter just started beating Lois.
Oh, that one
Oh.
sucks. I agree. That's a bad episode.
And then I knew that the show sucked because it's like we have this dramatic moment where Stewie just starts to hate like Peter, and then that's where the moment from of I know how to cheer you up. It's peanut butter jelly time. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's where it fucking comes from. It's comes from the spousal abuse episode, and
Yeah.
also, and then there's another segment of it where it just literally plagiarizes Little Shop of Horrors, where
Yeah.
it has Herbert like sing
Yeah.
somewhere that's green. I'm just
Yeah,
like, this is the
Yeah, that's arguably my least favorite episode of the series. It's bad. Fucking Spencer Ryder is wrong for liking it. Fuck you.
It's just here's the thing, like I watched Family Guy in middle school, and of course as a middle school I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then for the longest time I'm like I was kind of the same way, like this is the dumbest, like what this is the least not funny show I've ever seen in my life. And then Baylor actually showed me like a couple of good episodes, and it's like, you know what? That's the thing. Like Family Guy, when it's fun, it can be funny, but just here's also what I'm getting at. Recently, I just watched Ted for the first time.
Good
I watched
movie.
Ted.
I haven't seen. I've watched like 10 minutes of A Million Ways to Die in the West,
Oh,
and that was somehow still funnier than any of the Family Guy I've seen. But
here's what the thing about Ted. It's very much like quintessential like Seth MacFarlane. That like a lot of his stuff, the humor can be the humor is like extremely hit or miss. For every joke that works, there's always like a couple that don't.
mhm.
That's kind of what I feel like my relationship is with like Family Guy and Seth MacFarlane now. There's some hits, but there's also a lot of misses too. It's you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like I mean there's a part of me because of how much Goosey talks about the show. I'm just like maybe I should like give it a chance, but then I'm like thinking back to jokes that I haven't actually seen in episodes, but I've seen online where it's just like Brian vomiting over sleeping with fucking
Quagmire's
Quagmire's mom.
Yeah.
And
I
then
won't-
there's the joke where it's like you're about coming up next is The Simpsons, and then Quagmire rapes Marge.
that
Oh,
one
I'm
yeah,
like,
bad too. God, there's so many bad ones.
No,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. For every good Family Guy joke, there's about like a million bad ones.
To be fair, with the Simpsons joke, it was cut from the official release. You couldn't actually see it until the DVD and the Adult Swim version. So
Well, they shouldn't have even made the joke in the first
I agree,
place.
it's a bad joke.
Yeah.
It's because here's the thing. I think that Seth MacFarlane would do so much better. I mean, he's already doing like I don't know how to say you can improve because he's already probably like a multimillionaire from just lazy comedy. But I think it would be so much better if Family Guy and like a lot of his work was just sketch based. Like if it was like not any sort of linear plot, not even trying to be like an actual show about a family. If it was just sketches.
Oh, and
'Cause
you
I
should
think
watch Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
exactly what that is.
That
Yeah,
is
he
what
should-
it is.
that he should just do the Cavalcade of Comedy because that works because most of what Family Guy is just a bunch of like sketches. It's like the new Nostalgia Critic stuff where it's like he made a sketch show and it didn't work, so he decided to take this property and just make it about sketches that go on for way too long. And so I think that would work a lot better. And I would appreciate it because, there would be at least sketches that could work, some sketches that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But it would not like slow down a plot line. So
Though, to play devil's advocate, Seth MacFarlane did say that Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy was his biggest failure as a professional. Not Cleveland Show, Cavalcade.
well, that would probably be the same thing. Has Doug said that about Demo Reel? Because I could make that comparison.
No, I bet he's still proud of that. I don't think it's just
God.
It's not the worst thing he's done.
no.
Oh, it's not. Like I've seen bits and pieces of the Bard's Nightmare Let's Play, so
Well, we've seen Taboli
that's still a
Flea, which is the
highlight.
worst movie. We both agreed is like the worst movie we've ever seen.
well,
Taboli
I'm still
Flea,
saying
yeah.
it's Let's Play of Bard's Nightmare, so I don't have to acknowledge or at any point watch Taboli Flea because I watched Kick-Assia when I was like in high school and I loved it. I don't think I could watch it now because the funniest person in that movie is a pedophile. But
Oh.
like, well, luckily it's a dead pedophile, so you don't feel too bad. But I watched half of Suburban Nights, but I just never finished it. And I'm just not in the mood to watch Taboli Flea, especially knowing just how poorly everyone was. And this is coming from someone who watched the Island of Dr. Moreau documentary before watching the actual Island of Dr. Moreau movie. But
Yeah.
I just know, but because I've actually talked to people who were in Taboli Flea, I don't think I can like watch Taboli Flea.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Very bizarre experience.
Oh, definitely. But going back to our subject on Seth MacFarlane, it's like, yeah, I'm not particularly his audience, but at the same time, I'm not as harsh on him as I was like a few years ago.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I'll say he has talent. That's the
Oh,
thing. I'll give
definitely.
him.
He can be very talented.
Yeah, when he's like not being like lazy or hacky, he's actually like he when he does something that he wants to do, like when he's doing like those vocal jazz albums or when he's doing like the Orville, like he seems to actually be doing something that gets critical praise, but when he's like there's a great video I watched by this guy named Entertain the Elk, which is called like The
Yeah, I
Day
know.
Family Guy Died. And it's about it's like a whole series he does where he's like, here's the episode where the show died, and he did it on the Brian episode because it's like here's the character that's most like Seth MacFarlane. And so with that episode, because he's killing off the character that represents him, it's him trying to say that he wants to end the show, like that he no longer has that like drive for it.
I disagree because like Brian has always been like in the early seasons. Brian was like who Seth MacFarlane wants to be, this kind of this alpha Chad.
Yeah.
But like as the show goes on, they realize that kind of guy's a piece of shit, so they just make Brian a loser, and it's honestly kind of better for it.
Yeah.
That actually kind of sounds funny, but like whatever.
But no, I agree with you. You can definitely tell, especially with later seasons, that Seth MacFarlane doesn't really care anymore.
He
He's
hasn't
just
written for the show since season 9. That was the last one he
exactly. He's
actually
just
contributed
kind of
on.
doing this because it's a paycheck. What else is he gonna? What is he
Oh
gonna
yeah,
do?
because that's most of the shows on Fox now. Like,
Yep.
it's just like The Simpsons on life support, and then they'll have like a animated show that only lasts one season, and then I think Bob's Burgers, and then just a bunch of Seth MacFarlane shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's what the only animated show other than The Simpsons or Family Guy that's lasted for a long time is Bob's Burgers.
yeah, like the only reason why they kept Simpsons and Family Guy for so long is just because it's such a good marketing tool for that block. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if nobody watches it; they'll make their money back elsewhere. You know?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because like they do like at least try to do some shows, but the problem is that the shows they try are an anime version of Napoleon Dynamite and then Alan fucking Gregory. So
Yeah.
When Napoleon Dynamite is the better one of those two shows.
oh yeah,
Villain
because
group.
I here's the thing, I actually watched Alan Gregory when it was airing, and even then I was just like, this is not that funny. Like it's just
Yeah.
not that funny. Like it just seems mean. Like
Of course, the only thing I know about Alan Gregory comes from fucking Mr. Enter.
Ah,
I only know about it from Pan Pizza. I didn't know Mr. Enter covered it because
That was like
covers
one of his
everything
first
that Pan
episodes.
does.
I haven't watched Mr. Enter since like 2016. So
Yeah, I haven't watched him since. I haven't watched like a full episode of his since high school.
I only watch it now here and there, just as a so bad it's good.
I can't deal with that sort of shit. Like I can
It's
deal with a lot of so bad
ridiculous.
it's good shit, but like not YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's some like personalities online that are so bad it's good for me, like Ice Poseidon. But like other than that, it's just like no, I don't want to deal with that because it's like you're actually kind of supporting their content then,
Yeah.
even though you want that content to not exist because it's not good.
Yeah.
So,
The Nostalgia Critic's the only channel I would still watch for like so bad it's good.
Just yeah.
no, no. I still am surprised that like the wall was the straw that broke the camel's back, but
Yeah, me too.
Yep, it's been that bad for a long time. I mean,
Just
it's
people didn't really notice until the wall.
yep.
yeah, which is so weird because like the wall is such a niche like product. It's like not like any sort of like big blockbuster thing. Like I'm
No.
sure like people would look at like something for what is Man Max reviews or whatever and would be like, "Oh, so he doesn't understand anything fundamental to this film." But then
No.
you take it to something that's kind of niche but not like completely universal, like a movie like The Wall. Like not even the album because the album's a big thing, but the
Yeah.
movie's kind of obscure to
Yeah.
like people who aren't art house people. And it became like this big thing where it's like all these fans of The Wall came forward to be like, no, we are all going to bully this man for not understanding any fundamentals of this movie. And it's like, well, welcome to watching any of his other videos
Yeah.
because it's lazy critique, it's all just riffing, and
And
it's
like
peppered
some
with sketches.
yeah, like and like some of the stuff like he's making fun of, like he knows it's not he knows like he's missing the point, but he's just doing it just for it's a funny joke.
Fury Road is the same way. Fuck
Exactly.
you.
Like when he calls Goodbye Blue Sky Oscar bait, it's like there's no way that he didn't know that Goodbye Blue Sky was originally in the album, but he probably just put that in there because hey, it's a funny joke.
I can't even think of the last time I watched one of those videos.
Was it
God.
Mamma Mia?
Yeah, I remember watching the Mamma Mia video and tweeting about it. Yeah, that was a decent one because he didn't have that many sketches. Like when he doesn't rely on sketches, like he's
Not
actually
just because I've seen a lot of Mamma
funny.
Mia. That's not a very good movie to begin with.
Oh, I remember watching it when I was 10 because my mom still thought I was straight, so she could take me to all these movies and think, oh, it's not affecting him whatsoever. And I remember liking it because I was a dumb kid, but even we were like, Pierce Brosnan cannot sing. Like
No,
he cannot sing.
no,
And
he
we thought that was
can't.
hilarious. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that review was
Brosnan still
decent.
represents for me like the bottom of the bill in terms of like singing in movies.
Yeah, he makes freaking Russell Crowe and Les Mis look amazing.
Exactly.
I remember Paw did a sketch with Breno Floss where it was the Disney hits Our Son by Russell Crowe and Pierce Brosnan. So
Ooh.
yeah, Paw was good. Paw is like one of the few Chess-Apocalypse people I could still like say, they seem like a good bean.
Yeah.
Oh God, I knew because I would be talking to Goosey on the show that I eventually talked to just shit talking Nostalgia Critic, but
That's
Yeah.
that's the case every time me and Jack talk to each other.
Yeah,
One
for
of us
some
always
reason, it
brings
always
it
comes
up.
back to fucking Doug Walker for some reason.
because
We cannot leave. It's like Godfather 3. Like just when I thought I was safe, it ropes me back in.
I think it's because like I started like my popularity on Twitter. When I say popularity, when it's just like 500 people, but it came from starting the Admiral Crackers account. So I started
Yep.
off as one of these stan accounts for like before even stan accounts were a thing for Channel Awesome people,
Yeah,
and
that's how I
so
met you.
that's how I met like Goosey. And so when I transitioned over into my regular account because Admiral Crackers got banned, like that was basically that. So I guess because we're forged in the fire with this sort of like PTSD from the memories of the Fallout, we just kind of talk about it and reminisce over the war stories.
Yeah, here's what I think about it. Like there's some YouTubers that I don't watch anymore that I don't joke about because I don't know, like Brad Jones is someone I used to watch a lot, but I don't joke about him just because with Doug Walker, he's more like funny, you know? It's fun. It's
Doug is
more fun to make
harmless
fun
for
of
the
Doug
most
Walker
part.
just because he's just this weird guy. He's in his own little world.
Yeah, he hasn't. Brad has hurt more people specifically,
E-
I think
Exactly.
we should not talk about Brad Jones in my presence.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll have to do that some other time.
yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
do that when when I'm probably in a worse mood than I am right now because
Yep.
I have a lot to say about Brad fucking Jones.
Yeah, that's a can of worms we can't open right now.
Yeah, that's the say for a later episode.
God,
Yeah.
fucking Brad Jones. Um, my God, I'm I was trying to think of like another personality, but I thought if we talk about Lupa, I might go into shit talking too because she's been doing some shit that's I've not been appreciative of, but I don't want to talk about that either. So
Yeah.
God, but Angry
Um,
Video Game Nerd still rules.
he's
So
good.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
also
like
because like he knows what kind of show he is, and he doesn't try to like make it any bigger. He doesn't try to make it seem like it's more important than it really is. Like Doug Walker always makes this stuff to make it feel like this is like a big like channel for like, and this is so important. But like James from the very beginning always knows that Angry Video Gamer is just kind of a fun little thing.
I will say the Scream Wave guys he has on now suck ass, but
oh the
whenever it's,
Justin Silverman
yeah,
and like
like
the other guys.
whenever it's James specific, it's still good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But they're the
I
new Mike
remember
McKay.
watching some of those like movie review, excuse me, movie review stuff with the Unearthed or un like gamer or I un something. Like I know that's where Justin comes from because I remember them collabing with the Continue guys back in 2012. So
Hmm.
yeah, but they're like kind of just like whenever they're just behind the camera, I guess it works better.
Yeah.
But I guess because Mike decided to leave for whatever reason, now he
Yeah,
can't.
good riddance.
Yeah.
I have never like I didn't know that much about the Mike hate until he left, and people were just like, "Yeah, fucking, I'm glad that Mike Matei left."
Yeah, he sucks. He's bad.
All I know about it is that apparently he like was involved in some scam or something, and then he just talks about
Yeah.
his dick too much. That's all I know about him.
And he's the reason why Bootsy got fired, even though a lot of people liked Bootsy.
Hmm.
I don't know who that is, but
Yeah,
whatever.
he was
And
also
it's just the
on
fact that
channel.
on his
No,
own, he's
not
just not very,
actor.
yeah, just on his, just on camera, he's just not a very like, he's not a very like funny presence. Like if you watch that
Yeah,
video with fucking Inspector Gadget,
he's
that
really
explains
crazy.
everything.
Oh my god. I fucking love that video. Like
So
it's
funny.
so bizarre.
There's this great video after like after like Mike left, where it's like it's called like Goodbye Mike or something, but it shows like a thing, and it shows like him with like Inspector Gadget, and then it does like an Infinity Ward fade of like Mike, and it's just Inspector Gadget alone.
Oh my god.
I don't remember what that video's called.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I found out about it through Oni Plays and Siva Gunner because they were memeing the shit out of it, and it's just hilarious that voice they does, which I don't even know. I haven't watched the Inspector Gadget show, so I don't know if it's accurate, but it just sounds like what a bad impression would sound like if you were trying to do a bad impression of anyone, where it's just like,
Yeah.
I like brown bricks in Minecraft. It's just like you should shut up now. It's just like, this sounds like if you're trying to imitate a bad impression of something.
Yeah. This is a bad impression of a bad impression of this character.
And I don't know why. It's like, why would you get Inspector Gadget to review Minecraft? There's literally no logic. It's like, is it because he has like his own arsenal of stuff that makes it Minecrafty? It literally makes no fucking sense to have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Inspector
make a
Gadget.
video where me and Mighty Mouse review Fortnite.
I think it was just because the iPad is like Penny's book. I think that's the only connection.
I guess.
This fucking connection. That doesn't even
that
make
still
sense
doesn't make any sense.
because most people know about Inspector Gadget. No one gives a fuck about Penny or any of those
No.
other characters because the show's named Inspector Gadget. Even though it's not about him, it's about Penny and her stupid fucking dog.
Yeah, Penny's the one who always saved the day.
Right.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that. I've probably have in some bag in this basement like Inspector Gadget 2 toys, not even the first one, but like
second one is
Inspector
better.
Gadget 2. I wouldn't know. All I know is that it has like Elaine Hendricks and French Stewart for whatever reason.
Yeah, it is still
I
better.
saw the first one. I remember only seeing bits and pieces of Inspector Gadget 2 at various places.
I just remember because I was like 5 and I saw the commercials and being like, this looks scary. Like both the trailers for Inspector Gadget 2 just look scary because there was like weird erratic stuff and then screaming.
Yeah,
and I was
mean
like
really like poorly rendered CGI effects.
I think it was just like I was scared because like he grabs a guy's dick at one point. And
Yeah,
like,
I remember that scene.
Me because it's like, oh, he's just castrating this guy. And even before I knew what castration was, and I was just like, I don't want to watch Matthew Broderick like castrate someone as Inspector Gadget. Like, I'm 4 years old.
Like, so many of these live action like adaptations of kids cartoons have so much like adult humor in it. It's like, why? What's the point in that?
Because Batman.
The 80s.
No, I feel like Batman started that trend because it took something everybody knew as kids and then made it PG-13.
Well, that's the thing, though. At least that one was like more geared towards an older audience. Stuff like Scooby-Doo, Smurfs, and all this other stuff is still marketed towards kids.
There was a good point made by Oni Plays when I've rewatched multiple times this playthrough they did of the Casper video game, and they were like trying to figure out why they made this Casper movie, and they came to the conclusion that you know what it was? It was the Addams Family movie that started all of this.
Yeah.
Where that became such a big success with this older property that they were like, we could just make any sort of thing into this successful movie. And that's where I think like when you see in the 90s like Mr. Magoo or like Dudley Do-Right or Casper, Flintstones definitely. Yeah. Like it's all because of stemming from the Addams Family being such a surprise success. Like that's the thing with Hollywood is that when you get
even then like Casper was still geared towards a kids movie. Addams Family and Addams Family Values were like more geared towards older people with its PG-13 rating.
Yeah, because it's like it's an adult like cartoon show. Like here's the thing, like it's basically just this guy wants to fuck his wife all the time, and then these kids are just like little monsters.
Yeah, it was always an adult sitcom.
Yeah.
So they were like, we there's no way we're gonna make like a PG version of this unless it's animated and it has.
Yeah, which they did like a few years ago.
Accused murderer Snoop Dogg in it. I was saying like have accused murderer Snoop Dogg in it, like for kids. I love the fact that like Snoop Dogg, like I've had this, like if I was doing a roast of Snoop Dogg, it would be like he could come into this room, murder 10 people, sexually assault 5 women, and then host the Kids' Choice Awards like at the end of the day.
Right?
Like
Yeah, I know.
it's just because
It's
it's
like,
like
oh, Snoop Dogg just did this. Here, starring on a Corona commercial.
God, it's like it, but it's just because there's a level of charm where you get to the point where you could do such terrible things, but because you're like a living meme, you just plaster your image all over the place, then people will love you for doing just heinous shit. And that's the thing. And I don't have any hatred towards Snoop Dogg, even though I probably should,
Yeah.
because he's just so fucking charming and so
Yeah.
like just laid back. So
Yeah, and he's also like, again, say what you will about Snoop Dogg, he's also really good, smart and like business wise too.
I mean, like he's put his name onto a bunch of shit. Like
I mean, there's a reason why he has so much money, other than his music. I mean, like now he doesn't make much music, but a lot of his money now is due to like advertising and like businesses and stuff.
oh yeah, I think he got smarter over time. But like back in the 2000s when he was like putting his name onto porn, like
Hmm.
which was an actual thing that he did.
I believe
Uh,
it.
yeah, I think Todd talked about it once, so that's the only reason I know about it. But uh, yeah, so I think back in the 2000s when he was just branding himself, but when he got his comeback, I think he started getting more business savvy. It was just like I
Yeah,
should just do like Grubhub and like Martha Stewart stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
makes sense. Fellow
So,
inmate Martha Stewart.
Oh my god, I'm trying to think of like the funny stuff I was coming into here with because there was a bunch of funny like stories I was going to talk about.
I was going
Because
to talk about like the early days of YouTube and Fred, but that was the first thing we talked about right off the bat.
yeah,
cool.
which was a decent conversation. But I was also going to talk about because you saw a movie yesterday with some YouTuber and the ad director in attendance.
Yep.
Talk about that.
Yeah, it was a really bizarre experience, but it was a great one. I've never
Yeah.
been to a festival before, and this was also just the biggest public event I've been to post the pandemic. So
Yeah.
it
You
was
never been to a you never been to a film festival before?
No, I
nope.
haven't. I haven't either.
Oh, I've been to the Chicago International Film Festival for like 4 years until like Corona like shut down.
Hmm.
I moved back home. But
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about like the weirdest like stories at those festivals because the last time I was there was kind of a train wreck in terms of me trying to like see movies. So uh, I usually like a lot of the films at the festivals, but like the worst one I probably saw was 2019. I saw Vitalina Varela, which was a Pedro Costa movie, which a lot of people like, but I was just found it to be so fucking boring and pretentious that
Yeah.
like when it ended, like I was more having more fun counting how many people walked out, like which was like 11 people. And then I did my review and I didn't I brought it up in my review because I didn't want to dignify this pretentious piece of shit. And I
Uh-huh.
made my rating not even like a 5 out of 10. It was just like I linked to a Pitchfork review and then said this out of 10, like just because I was trying to shit post. And I also had this very awful experience watching the Two Popes in the theater, which
Oh
was
yeah. Two popes isn't
because
that. I didn't mind two popes. That's not a
oh,
bad
I
movie.
finally did see Two Popes like on Netflix, and I actually really liked it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But
it's a good movie.
yeah, but I saw it at the festival. It was the one I was anticipating. But when I saw it, I actually showed up like late, so I missed like the first 10 minutes of the movie,
Hmm.
and then and it was like pouring rain too, so I was just like drenched in rain, and I had to see and I got into the movie late, and I was the only seat they could get me was like right in front row at like the right side of the theater. So I was getting this like big view of just like the screen that was barely covered the entirety of it.
Yeah,
And
the only time I've had to sit really in front of the screen was back in 2013. They re-released Jurassic Park in 3D, and a friend of mine saw it in IMAX 3D. So it was packed, so we got near the front row. So we literally were like sitting like this the entire time, looking at the giant IMAX screen. We we,
God,
we had so much fun though. So we didn't even care.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I had to see
I
La La Land like that, but thankfully there was like reclining seats, so I could like like sit like a bed,
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I had that sort of thing with La La Land too, but I saw that in Kankakee. But this was in Chicago, so it was actually a nice theater. It was an AMC.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but it was just weird because it has the cinematography is so close up with the shots. So, like literally because of how I'm positioned, all I'm seeing is just like the neck, neck fat of Anthony Hopkins the whole time. So like,
Yeah.
that's all I could fucking see. And so I was just like, fuck this. I'm just gonna watch it on Netflix when it comes out. So I just left.
Yeah.
And then I like tried to watch and then I ended up watching Portrait of Lady on Fire. So that was much better. Um, but
Portrait of a Lady
yeah,
on Fire was the last movie I watched before the whole world went to hell.
it was Uncut Gems for me, which was this is a weird. Let's talk about weird theater experiences because I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm directing the show because it's Goosey's fucking show, but whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so I had a weird experience with Uncut Gems. I think I tweeted about it, but halfway through the movie, it ended suddenly because I was in St. Louis watching it. I was in St. Louis for a wedding, and it was just this kind of rickety theater, like as part of a bigger complex. And so we watched Uncut Gems in this like sticky like theater, and then halfway through, like during the auction scene, the movie just suddenly cut to the A24 logo and stopped. And we were like, what the hell just happened? And it just turned out that I guess they just messed up the print or whatever. And so they were like, okay, we got to restart the whole movie, which is like, probably for even people who like Uncut Gems, it's probably not a good idea just because of how
Yeah.
intense it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to fast forward, but they messed up the audio. So they were just playing
Oh.
like the music that they play like before the movie. So it was just like there was no audio. It was just playing Two Princes by the Spin Doctors for whatever reason. And so Dad was the person who went to go tell them like, hey, the picture's fucked up. You gotta fix this. And then he came back, and then he went back again to tell him like, hey, you're just playing the music. And they were just like, what's going on? And so eventually they fixed it. But it
Yeah.
was just this weird experience. But I just ranted about it on Twitter, and I used a bunch of fuck words because I was just like, I've been revved up by this movie to just act like Howie. So
Yeah. Um, the weirdest theater experience I had was Rango. My dad took us to see Rango, which is a good movie, don't get me wrong,
oh,
but
it's a great movie, yeah.
we accidentally saw the autism friendly sensory screening.
Hmm.
So there was subtitles and just these kids just walking around and talking the whole time. I don't know why we didn't just leave.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds awful. Oh my god. I didn't even know that these existed.
No, they do. They do.
I didn't know that there would be literally like and I don't mean to sound like offensive here, but I didn't know that there was like these sorts of screenings where it's just like we're just going to have like autistic kid only screenings of like movies.
I mean, if it was like crybaby matinees, you could just take your kids there and just watch the movie. And they leave like the lights on and they don't play very loud because they know there's gonna be just screaming kids.
Oh god, this reminds me of this. No, okay, this one is actually the weirdest experience I had in theater. It was Lady Bird, great movie. Uh, oh, is something wrong? Or
No.
okay. Uh, I was just about to say like so I went to see Lady Bird. It was a Sunday afternoon, and literally no one was in the theater. And this isn't like some small theater I saw it in. This was an AMC, so it was like this big theater. And I was in the lobby, and I was the only person in the lobby, which is just so weird. So I bought my ticket. I went up the escalator. I'm in like the place where it has all the theaters, and I'm still the only person there. And I'm just like, what the hell is just going on? Like, why is there like literally no one in this theater? So eventually I get there. There's like four other people seen Lady Bird. Uh, Halfway through the movie, the lights come up,
Yeah.
and it's just like with coupled with the very empty experience I had before, like the fact that, and it wasn't even like all the lights. It was just like some of the lights, and then
Hmm.
all the lights came up halfway through. and people were just like, "What's going on?" Eventually, they turned them all off, and we're just like, "What's going on here?" Where it's just like this very ghostly experience. Like, it just felt like a conspiracy against me. So,
Yeah.
All right, so should we get into my case file for today? A mystery for us to solve.
What is it?
Let's
sure.
talk about Crispin Glover. How do you guys feel about Crispin Glover?
Well, honestly, I haven't.
my density.
Honestly, I haven't seen that much with Crispin Glover. I mean, all I've seen with him really are the first Back to the Future, Charlie's Angels, the 2000s one, and then Epic Movie with You, which that was a
That was
nah.
fun.
I talked about this with Goosey over text, but for the podcast, I'll talk about it. So I had Epic Movie when I was 10 because we were talking about stuff that appealed to us like on YouTube when we were like very young, even though it wasn't kid friendly. Epic Movie
Mhm.
was that for me because I saw it on FX and thought, oh, this is funny because literally a 10-year-old is the only person that will find any of these Seltzerberg turds like incredibly funny.
I don't even think a
Is
10-year-old would find it funny.
well, I did, but that's also because I was, disabled. So here's the thing. I always skipped that Crispin Glover scene.
The Willy
I
Wonka
always,
scene.
yeah, because it's literally just like body horror. It's
Yeah.
literally a body horror scene. So when you're a 10-year-old and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna see this movie, and oh look, it's a Willy Wonka scene. It's funny because I've seen this movie because I'm a little child, and then we're like, no, we're gonna have literal decapitations, castration scenes, like I was talking about before. We're gonna rip out someone's beating heart and gouge out their eyes, and this is the joke. And if a 10-year-old watch this, then I guess that's just too bad. So it's like, oh my god, this is terrifying. So I always skip that scene.
Yeah, understandable. So I
Yeah.
like Crispin Glover. Think he's a very good actor. Back to the
Mhm.
Future, solid Teflon. He was very good in Charlie's Angels, which spawned a whole renaissance for him in the 2000s,
Yeah.
including
Including Epic Movie.
and Willard, an awesome movie where he trained some killer rats, and
Right.
he did this amazing music video you should watch
Uh,
where
yeah,
But you sent me that music
yeah,
video.
I
of
watched that all the time as a teenager. Yeah.
of Ben by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It is
For the longest time, I
beautiful.
didn't even realize that that song was even about that movie.
Nope, it was made for the film Ben.
Oh, I
Nothing
I
didn't.
didn't
I was
even
thinking you were
know
talking
Ben.
about
that.
Clowny Clown Clown. I didn't know about this like Ben cover that he did.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
didn't
you
know.
should. He did it for Willard. He directed the video, and it's very bizarre. You should watch it.
Yeah, I remember like the same year he did Charlie's Angels, he also did Nurse Betty, which he's just like I love the fact that almost all of Crispin Glover's acting, he just seems constipated like the
Yeah,
entire time, and like he has like asthma or something, and he just doesn't seem like someone who should be talking and acting right now. He just seems like someone who needs to like sit down and like, get some help. Like, but he's just acting his heart out. And I like that. He just seems like he's having like digestion problems. Like
yeah,
he's
I
also great
agree.
in River's Edge. If you've ever seen that movie, it has Keanu Reeves in it.
Hmm.
I
I've
think
never heard of that one.
I not Leah Thompson, but like maybe Mia Sarah or something. But it's just a really great movie. It's from one of the directors of Twin Peaks, Tim Hunter. And it's like about a dead body. It was released like the same year as Stand by Me, but it's like a bunch of a teenager kills like a woman, and then they have to like hide the body. And Dennis Hopper's like in love with a mannequin. It's a very
Of
weird.
course,
And
Dennis Hopper falls in love with a mannequin in a movie.
yeah, it was also the same year when he was Frank Booth, so it's like just the weirdest shit. But it's really good. And then Nurse Betty, and then he was in Wild at Heart for one scene,
Hmm.
which has no bearing on the film, but it's just a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you know why he continues acting? There's a very specific reason.
Well, you told
Despite
me this.
Steven
You
Spielberg.
told me this reason like a couple of days ago.
Yep. What'd you say, Sean?
I said out of spite for Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
I
And
was right.
because
Well, I don't think it's even Steven Spielberg. I think it's more
No,
just
it
Bob
is.
Gale.
well, he hates him too, but
But what
I
what
can't believe
what
I
does he
kind
have
of
against
guessed it.
Spielberg? I know the whole thing with Bob Gale, but what about
I'm getting
Spielberg?
into it.
What?
Okay, so he made this movie in his spare time. We can't watch it because you have to like physically be there for the screenings.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
the
But
one where it's like Mr. Farr or whatever.
it's called What Is It? Is that what you're
Oh,
thinking
that
of?
one. Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that he did the promotion on David Letterman for.
Oh,
But I
that's
know
a
what.
good interview.
But I do know what is, and that is true Kino. Let me just say.
The- so
so
continue.
So I have this essay in front of me. It's about what is it? What is it? An essay concerning the subtext of the film with the same title by Crispin Glover. I'm just going to read the whole thing. We can talk about it when I'm done.
Crispin Glover seems like the kind of guy who would also make like a really pretentious essay about his own movies.
I love that Goosey got us onto this podcast, and I just now realized it was a whole elaborate excuse to trap us into hearing this like essay about a Crispin Glover movie.
All right, next time we
Crispin
come on, we
Glover
need to
wrote
find some
himself.
crazy article or essay that we can just trick everybody into hearing
Yeah.
just for our own amusement.
And
Yep.
it has Fruza in it, so eventually I will have to watch it. But I'm not looking forward because I've seen the Browse Held High review of it, so I'm not looking forward to hearing Down syndrome people fucking while Johnny Rebel plays or whatever that movie is.
Wait, he reviewed What Is It?
Yeah, it's a band review, which good on Crispin Glover for banning Browse Held High episodes, but
Hmm.
he took down the video because you can't see the movie. So but because Kyle reviewed it, and that's how I know about it. I know about the blackface Michael Jackson. I know about the child poor Shirley Temple with the Ryan crop. I know about all this shit. So
Interesting.
I've never heard any of this, so this is all just like crazy to me.
But yeah, I agree because the movie's never been officially released, so you can't just post this without the director's consent. It's not fair use.
yeah, if
Mhm.
only Kyle knew that, but whatever.
Yeah, fuck Kyle. That's another person I don't like. I showed you all this, but I made the Julian Sorowski blocked by Kyle Calgren card for
Oh,
me.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
right.
Awesome.
Anyway, continue reading this essay.
All right, what is it? Is this culture content? Is it happy? Are the smiles broadcast by this culture's media the smiles that reflect the collective mind?
Oh,
Does the
oh boy.
Does the self-professed
Go on.
compassion of the media for the unfortunate seem sincere? Is this culture a Judeo-Christian culture? Is forgiveness a quality of Christian ethos?
I hate you so much right now. Continue.
Didn't Eric Harris and Dylan Kelbold of Columbine High School post a caption that posted a
Why is it I imagine this is the kind of stuff Matthew McConaughey thinks in those Lincoln commercials?
This is malarkey. This is absolute malarkey.
I can just imagine Matthew McConaughey is just like, what is this culture? What is this?
What would you like to watch? I just did this movie. I just did this movie. It has Shirley Temple with Ryan Kropp. I just think it's real cinema. Okay, keep going.
Martin Scorsese. Now this is cinema.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is going. It gets worse.
Okay, keep going. First off, how long is it?
Not
Yeah.
too long. It's
Okay,
not too
that's good.
long.
Alright, keep going then.
Didn't Eric Harris and Dylan Kelbold of Columbine High School post a caption that stated, "Stay alive, stay different, stay crazy"? Didn't they target Christians? Weren't they accused of being Nazis? Wasn't one of them Jewish? Wasn't one of them an honor student? If these fellows were staying crazy and staying different and thinking their own, were they perhaps manifesting a countercultural ideal? What else in this culture were the Columbine killers attacking? Aren't jocks whom they killed generally considered common good guys by our culture? Don't jocks represent pro-cultural values? Do those who hold values that counter the culture see jocks as boorish, vapid, brute, conceited, and condescending, who willfully insult and violate those who refuse to join the gang with the masses? Were Harris and Kelbold reacting to the media itself? Did they give their own lives and take others to make a point about the media at large? Can it be true that the media at large is so neurotic that it's unable to truthfully describe the Columbine event? Is it true that a videotape they produced just before the killings is now being withheld so the public cannot determine their own thoughts about Harris and Kelbold's statements?
Get to your point.
I just want to say, as a member of the true crime community who really wants to suck on Eric Harris's rosy butthole, let me just say that I'm finding a lot of this to be a not very good critique of the Columbine, the victims of the Columbine.
Yeah, people died.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I was referring to Eric and Dylan as victims because they're victims of society.
No, it's just like they keep going on and on. He keeps going on and on. I'm just like, get to your point. What are you trying to say?
It gets weirder. In Civilization and its discontents, did Sigmund Freud define a neurotic as an individual holding thoughts that clash with those held by the prevailing culture? An individual who subverts those clashing thoughts to the subconscious that later manifests in the form of anxiety and unnecessary behavior? If this is so, what does one consider a culture whose prevailing ideas express hypocrisy, sham, and double standard? Is this somehow defined a neurotic culture? Does Steven Spielberg hold the same values that I wish upon myself? Does the mind of this grinning, bespectacled, baseball-capped man entirely reflect this culture? Is it true that in his waning years, Orson Welles asked Steven Spielberg for a small sum of money to which he could make his final film? Is it true Steven Spielberg refused? Is it true that Steven Spielberg bought a sled used in Citizen Kane for an extremely large amount of money? Do Steven Spielberg's passions burn? Do passions burn in the man now imprisoned who wished to anally rape Steven Spielberg? Do cultural mouthpieces confidently inform us which to anally rape Steven Spielberg is a bad thought? Could anal rape of Steven Spielberg simply be the manifestation of a cultural mandate?
What is this?
I'm so glad I didn't say that I wanted to eat Eric. I'm so glad I said I wanted to eat Eric Harris's ass because now I don't feel as bad because of this shit.
Why? Who?
All this because he didn't like Ready Player One. Really?
Did he really write this because of Ready Player One?
No, it came out years before that.
This is still better than Ernest Cline's writing, so you got that so far.
Yeah.
Oh, I've read Ready Player One over. That'd be something interesting to talk about. Just Ready Player One.
God.
But is that the end of the essay, or is there more?
Yes, there is more.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Do you believe Steven Spielberg is an ideal guide and influence for our culture? Do Steven Spielberg's films question our culture? What do Steven Spielberg's films question? Does Steven Spielberg focus much of his fantasy life on young people? Did he portray children wallowing in sewers filled with fecal matter and Schindler's List? Did he use children to finger paint Adult and Hook? Does he collect illustrations of Norman Rockwell, such as the one of a young boy in his underwear examined by a doctor? Are the inclinations of Steven Spielberg above suspicion by the media-fed culture? Was Steven Spielberg very friendly with Michael Jackson? Wasn't Michael Jackson supposed to play Peter Pan in Steven Spielberg's version of the story? Now that Michael Jackson is no longer held in favor by the mass media, does Spielberg associate with him? Do Michael Jackson and Steven Spielberg share similar opinions about the sexuality of young boys?
Okay. Let me stop you there for a second.
Let me stop you right there because you're under the impression that Michael Jackson is no longer liked in the media. I don't think you've ever argued on Twitter that he was a pedophile because you will see about 64 people coming for
This
you.
person is also arguing that that Steven Spielberg is also
A
a
pedophile.
pedophile.
Yes, that's the implication.
Oh God, I just
What?
watched a clip from that Dasha Nexkrova movie where they were talking about the Epstein and Clinton crime family, and this is reminding me a lot of that.
Yeah, this is insane. This is like QAnon stuff.
Has
Yeah.
it's just
Did James Healy write this? Did he put you up to this?
Ooh. No, it's Crispin Glover. Crispin Hellion Glover.
Crispin Hellion Glover confirmed for Penis Boy 2.
Oh.
this just sounds like this just sounds like the rants and raves of someone who has just lost his mind.
All this about a movie where Down syndrome people fuck. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, that's what is it? All right. Did Joseph Goebbels popularize certain ideas to the mass culture? Does Steven Spielberg attempt to do the same thing?
How do we go from Columbine to Steven Spielberg?
let me just say this right now. I've dealt in my previous show where I live streamed. I was thoroughly gagged when Moo said that she felt that Leslie Jones' performance in Ghostbusters was Stephen Fetchit like or whatever she fucking said. But this is 100 times worse because you're actually comparing Joseph Goebbels to a Jewish man.
God, fuck you, Crispin Glover. What is wrong with you? I mean, we're
Yeah,
still fans,
my
but
opinion of him
Jesus.
is I'm just slowly thinking kind of less and less of him as you continue to read this essay. Just my opinion's just getting less and less.
Wait,
And I don't even know
Crispin
that much
Glover
about him to
wrote this?
begin with.
I thought this was you, Goosey. I thought you wrote this.
Oh, come on, please.
I seriously, I'm such a dumb person. I thought
I
that like
tried to say it was Crispin Glover.
no, but I thought you wrote an essay about what is it, and I was just like,
It does seem like the kind of thing you would write just to troll us.
yeah, that's what
No.
I thought. I didn't know that this was actually what Crispin Glover wrote. Oh my God! This
Again,
makes me okay. Now all my hatred is towards Crispin Glover, not you.
Okay. Okay. Shit.
is it over?
Nope.
Keep going.
Proceed.
Is celebrity more special than actual truth in art? When you join in a group of strangers, do you openly discuss any idea about fear of conflict? Or do you restrain yourself from discussing certain things for fear of offending people and then becoming an outcast? Are there laws that deem certain forms of thought as bad and wrong? Is what is now termed hate a form of thought? Does our culture consider it acceptable to have a minstrel represent a black person on film? Does our culture consider it acceptable to have a person of average intelligence representing a retarded person on film? Why is one thing questionable and one thing acceptable? Did Adolf Hitler entertain any good thoughts? Was Shirley Temple sexy as a young girl?
Okay, so wait. So now he's complaining. So okay. So he complained that Steven Spielberg was also a pedophile like Michael Jackson. And then a few sentences afterwards asked was if Shirley Temple was cute if she was young. Doesn't that seem a little bit, I don't know,
I think the
contradictory?
idea is just to pose the question and have you come to your own conclusions.
I played that because we're getting to some real fucking clownery right here.
This is ridiculous. I agree. What if you wish to express these ideas? Can people sue you for expressing ideas, particularly if they're blamed for inspiring behavior considered antithetical to cultural norms?
No, they can't sue you for expressing ideas if you're protected by satire parody clause.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Doug Walker.
which is kind of not what Kyle did. What he was just like kind of showing clips from a movie that you can't watch.
Yeah.
And then he was doing what all the people on Channel Awesome did, was just riffing. At least I'll say this with Lindsay Ellis. At least she found a way to actually do something that was like fair use. So
Yep.
Yeah. Like the video essays weren't just reviewing the film, all the things. They were kind of like talking about individual parts of it.
Yeah, so it was like she actually had a point that time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Would the cultural mainstream ever silence or suppress Steven Spielberg? Has the United States government given the immensely wealthy Steven Spielberg millions of dollars to fund a media project that reflects his religious heritage and his cultural beliefs? Does the Talmud speak of the superiority of Jews and the inferiority of other cultures and beliefs? Does
Oh my
Steven
God.
Spielberg reflect this religious imperative? Is Steven Spielberg neurotic? Is this belief hidden and suppressed?
When did Crispin Glover start hanging out with Nick Cannon? Like,
Right?
this is just some weird
Yeah.
Farrakhan shit. Like,
This is really odd.
This is just
this is all because he didn't want to be in Back to the Future Part 2 and got like a head cast or whatever. This is
yeah,
all
and
because of
basically they pulled up those effects before Rogue One did.
that.
Ooh.
And they did it better in Back to the Future Part 2, which is the sad part.
It's just I don't know. If there's more, just go ahead and finish it so we can just get it over with.
What's the mystery here? What are we trying to
Yeah,
solve?
what are we
here?
trying to solve?
We're trying to figure out what the hell it is. What is it?
This is our first episode, and basically our first mystery, and already you gave us a case that's almost impossible.
Remember what I said that you would have to edit me out? Like, this is me saying that I'm disabled and then talking about ass eating Columbine. Like, that's nothing compared to just reading verbatim Crispin Glover's anti-Semitic pedophilia antics.
Like conspiracy theories.
Yeah. God.
Like you could say all this stuff on OAN and it wouldn't like feel out of place.
Right.
Why did I immediately think of One Angry Gamer? Like, I don't know why, but I was for some reason thinking that the N was a G, and then it was One Angry Gamer, and it was just him zooming in on fucking Celeste trans flag. This is somehow tied to Steven Spielberg.
I know he isn't on like OAN, but I can imagine somebody like Bill O'Reilly saying this stuff.
Right.
He wouldn't be this blatant about it, but yeah.
If one
Speaking of
discovered,
which, apparently Bill O'Reilly and Donald Trump are going on tour together.
well, that'll be
Good
awesome.
for them. Good for them, because
It's called
they know
the
where the money
history.
is.
Hold on, let me look it up. Bill O'Reilly Trump tour. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's called the History Tour.
Yeah, right.
Because I saw something on Stephen Colbert. It's like they're calling this the History Tour because both of their careers are history.
Ha ha.
Oh,
Got
great
him.
one, Steven. You fucking got him.
Got him.
What a hack he's become. It used to be
Oh my
genius,
god. The charging
That-
it's just the first thing I saw up here, Trump and Bill O'Reilly charged $7,500 for VIP tickets to hear them speak.
Good for them. They know how much these fucking like brainwashed people are going to like pay for this sort of thing because they want to meet the president and the person who inspired
not
him.
the president anymore.
No, but they think that he's the
rejects.
president. They think that he's the president still for
But
whatever
I'm going to
reason.
change the subject right now because just like you, if we go into Trump, it's not. If I
Does
go
he
into
figure
Trump,
into this?
it's not
Does
going
he
to be.
figure
It's
into
not
this
going to be
fucking
pretty.
essay?
It's not going to be pretty.
Oh
But
God.
anyway, before we go back to Crispin Glover, I just want to quickly say, for some reason, I've been watching some Stephen Colbert clips because either like I think 2 weeks ago he did live in person shows again, and while again there are some kind of like bad jokes in there, there's something just so comforting about him just being so happy performing in front of a live audience again.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do shitty YouTube content that's like worse than us anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something so nice about I'm just seeing somebody in front of the live audience, even though technically like Jimmy Fallon and Kimmel were doing going back to live audiences before he was.
Yeah, and he seemed much more comfortable with that because he doesn't have to. He could just have people edit around all the stuff about Amazon or whatever, because that John Oliver clip was fucking based.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Yeah.
it's funny if you hear his audience, you can definitely tell what kind of audience they are because every time they bring up a Republican or something like that, you just hear the whole thing go up in a choir of boos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You keep
I
going.
mean, Stephen Colbert can be funny at times, but definitely recently his show has gotten very like pandering.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a funny
it
show.
works. Like he's beating Fallon in terms of ratings. I think he's like the #1 rated like late night talk show right now.
Good for him.
Just
But
none of the shows are good.
No,
I mean, none of them are good. They're for the sort of audience that they attract. So
Like
you know.
Letterman was a good show, you know.
yeah, I like John Oliver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Oliver's good.
Even though he's not really like a talk show host. It's more just kind of like the Daily Show.
Yeah, but like a good new version because Trevor Noah's also kind of in this fucking shitter.
Yeah.
But like Conan just ended, so we're losing like the good talk show hosts at the moment.
Yeah,
So
yeah. My brother recently was watching the final Conan episode when it was airing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I just love the fact that every time that like Goosey moves into the microphone is about to speak, immediately Jack is just like, I just want to say this about Stephen Colbert. Just love
Come on,
that.
because I mean, I don't know. There's a point where it's kind of like after the whole Crispin Glover thing, I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, because we don't want to know what happens next.
It's like,
Didn't
oh
he make a sequel to
God,
this movie?
what?
He made a sequel to this movie. I just remembered.
Yeah, he did. He wants it to be a trilogy.
But it hasn't. I'm waiting for the third movie. I am
We talking
waiting.
about Crispin Glover again?
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we had to finish this.
I was about to say, what's going to be the sequel called? Why is that?
Let
No,
me
it's gonna
look
be
it up.
what is it? No, it's gonna be wait. What
Keep going.
was the first movie called again?
What is it?
What is it? And then the second one's gonna be how is it? And then the finally is gonna be like what it is or something like that.
Oh, the second one has a title.
What it is, motherfuckers.
Um,
Sorry, that was just the Pac-Man. Keep
Oh.
going.
Oh shit! Here comes Pac-Man.
I'm high on crack.
No, Pac-Man.
Second.
Drugs are bad.
okay, okay. The second part is called "It Is Fine. Everything is Fine."
Yeah, I just looked it up too.
Of course, it's called that.
And it has Lauren German, Bruce Glover. I don't know if that's any relation. And that's all the people. He had a better cast for what is it? Like he at least had Fruza. He at least had himself. I don't see that anywhere.
Yeah,
But-
because people realize what a fucking hack this guy is.
So what? Okay, can you repeat the question? What are we trying to solve here?
Yeah.
Just yeah. That's the answer here.
Well, obviously, a lot of this kind of seems, especially the stuff about like Spielberg and stuff. It definitely feels like it's coming from a very petty point of view.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's entirely petty.
Oh, 100%. It's like what? I mean, going up stuff about Schindler's List. I mean, that just kind of rubs me the wrong way because again, Schindler's List came from a very like Spielberg definitely directed it because he directed it like very personally because again,
Yeah.
he is Jewish. I'm sure I don't know if he had like ancestors like dealt with that, but again, just because like it's of that religion, it's kind of like personal to him. Like beforehand, he didn't even want to direct it because he didn't feel like he would be the right person to do it.
Okay.
Right.
So we had to get into this. We had to get back into the essay because
Okay,
that Schindler's List does come back.
Oh no.
It's not even done yet. I thought it was done.
No.
Does he talk about the attractiveness of the girl in the red coat? Like,
No.
what is this?
No. All right.
I mean, talk about Shirley. I mean, after that comment about Shirley Temple, I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
But again, it's part of the movie. Go on.
All right, let's finish this. If one discovers that everything one has been taught to be good is actually false, what is it then? At what point is our culture neurotic? Did Vincent van Gogh, Diane Arbus, and Werner Fassbinder die for their sins of their culture? to Joseph Goebbels? Are we fed massive cultural propaganda? Are we fused with the belief that we act as we wish and do what we want? Are we not simply believing that what cultural propaganda suggests us to think?
What?
Why is Fassbinder and Arbus and all these people being brought into this bullshit?
Really,
And
like,
compared to Joseph
leave Van
Goebbels,
Gogh alone.
Like, also, like, I didn't know Fassbinder would be brought into it. Like, I mean, I know he's a big art house director, but, like, I don't think that he died under mysterious circumstances, like, whatever this is supposed to be.
No, it's about like the whole thing about like Van Gogh dying for the sins of our culture. It's like,
and
no,
Joseph Goebbels.
I'm just
no.
thinking of Jack Posobiec, like at the remember when they did that Julius Caesar, like, but it's supposed to be Trump now? And
Yeah.
Laura
Yeah.
Loomer and Jack Posobiec got arrested because they were just causing a fucking commotion. And then Jack Posobiec stood up and like, "You are all Joseph Goebbels. You are all no better than Joseph Goebbels." I just remembered that. So
All right, this part's great right here. This is good. Do you like MTV? Do you like Steven Spielberg? Do you like post-punk rock? Do you like trip hop? Do you like rap?
where's the fucking trip hop got right into
Okay,
this?
I'm
Trip hop. What? What?
yeah. I just imagine Crispin Glover having this like big like Pepe Sylvia like board where it just goes from like Columbine, Spielberg, Shirley Temple, Van Gogh, MTV, and they're all connected for some reason.
Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah, it's just
Portishead is somehow brought into this with the fucking trip hop too.
Like, the whole point is that he's obsessed with propaganda in American entertainment. Like, that's the whole thing. He thinks there's propaganda in everything you consume.
wait. He brought up like Steven Spielberg and MTV. He really
So-
is Ernest Klein.
Wait, oh no, he's actually he's trying to say that is he trying to say that Schindler's List is Jewish propaganda?
I'm sure he is.
Oh God,
Okay.
no.
Keep going then. Keep going. I'm interested now.
Do you like rap? Do you define yourself according to the music you listen to? Do you consider yourself a true lover of music because you are in a rock band or because your boyfriend is in a rock band? Do you like
Fuck
tattoos?
off, God. It's like
You-
shut up.
Oh no, it's turning into Vice now with the talking down to women. God.
Ooh. Do you like body piercing? Do you believe in that love, kindness, compassion, recycling, and equality will save this culture from all its woes? Do you? Do you?
Oh, it's attacking me now.
Yeah.
God.
Is it considered career suicide to question Steven Spielberg if one was involved in the entertainment business?
Well, I
If-
mean, he's right about that because of Megan Fox, but we'll get
Mhm.
into that.
Wait,
Right.
what?
Because Megan Fox didn't want to do the Transformers movies anymore, and so Steven Spielberg kind of fucked her over because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also because she compared Michael Bay to Hitler. So
Well, like nobody likes Michael Bay, so
right.
I'm so okay. Go on. We keep interrupting you, and this just makes this go on so much longer.
No, I'm liking it because it goes on so much longer.
Well, like, this is. I feel this is like a freaking eternity.
Yeah. If
You're
one
gonna be
is not
still reading this essay, and I don't know, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be in college anymore.
Immediately interrupts.
all right. If one is not involved in the entertainment business, is it considered a social suicide to question Steven Spielberg? If these things are so, what does that point to? Does this mean freedom of expression is actually curtailed in our culture by certain social pressures? If someone is called a fascist in American culture today, the counterpart to saying someone was a communist during the Joseph McCarthy era of the 1950s? Does our culture congratulate itself for taking an interest in the lack of original ideas personified by the name of Steven Spielberg? Do his films take chances or take risks in order to amplify, change, or challenge the cultural through process? Does Steven Spielberg take risks, or does he simulate the idea of taking risks? What risk was involved in making Saving Private Ryan or Schindler's List, or adopting a black child? Was there any risk at all?
What?
What?
I watched the Spielberg documentary. I forget if that actually happened, but
What?
that he adopted like a child from Africa, I guess. I don't know.
I've never heard that before.
No, I don't remember that as part of the movie. I don't remember that.
I have no idea if this is true.
I'm thinking he's confusing Susan Lacey movies because she also did Spielberg, but she also did a Jane Fonda 5X, and she did that. So
It's just okay. First you go to Schindler's List. Now you're going to Saving Private Ryan, another movie that was kind of that proved difficult for him to complete.
well, yeah. I mean, I would say there's probably no risks in doing a movie about World War II, especially with it's the '90s and they were doing a bunch of movies about it. But at the same time, I mean, it's that they probably risked a lot during production. So
Yeah.
keep going.
Was there any risk at all? Would Steven Spielberg have adopted that same child in the deep south of the 50s, where he would have had the risk of being called an end lover? Were the adoption of the black child and the subject matter of his movies actually business decisions for which he knew would be congratulated? When Steven Spielberg clutched his Academy Award for Schindler's List, saying it's for the 6 million, was he speaking of a quantity of people killed or the quantity of dollars poured into his bank account?
Oh my god! Seriously, why? Why?
Oh
Fuck off! Jesus!
I don't know. I'm starting to like this guy. I'm starting to like it.
Just every time I hear, it's like just when I thought this essay couldn't possibly get any like crazy, it's just shit like that happens.
Oh my god.
God,
That is terrible.
that is definitely one of the worst
Especially
things
considering
in
they
this-
probably
in
made
this
more than 6
essay.
million. So probably made more than 6 million. So
Yeah.
I mean, he said he didn't take any salary for making that movie, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So he made that.
So,
I
yeah,
do
but so
remember
that
that
phase
part.
doesn't even make any sense.
God. Okay, keep going.
Just end.
And
And
I'm gonna need fucking Adams. We're gonna have to call up Ab Sandler and Robin Williams to cheer us up after this fucking essay.
right.
Sorry, Schindler's List joke.
was it? I thought it was just Robin Williams.
I think Adam Sandler was also one of those comedians, but
Oh, can you talk about this? I have no idea, but you're right.
Well,
okay.
like,
So because of Schindler's List being so fucking depressing to make, then Steven Spielberg personally like would call up Robin Williams and Adam Sandler to just kind of cheer him up because he's Steven Spielberg. He could do that shit. So
Yeah.
and
I
also
do.
and also because again, nobody was really happy making this film about the Holocaust. They need like some kind of they need somebody to put them in good spirits.
yeah, and Roberto Benigni wasn't big then, so
Oh, life is beautiful. That's another subject we need to talk about.
yeah.
at
But
some
keep
point.
going, I guess.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Thank God.
Did Steven Spielberg truly help the culture understand Stanley Kubrick's movies at an Academy Awards eulogy? Where they accuse Kubrick's films of being hopeful to make them seem as if they sell the same ideas as Steven Spielberg's movies? Was A Clockwork Orange about hope? Was Barry Lyndon about hope? Was Doctor Strangelove about hope? Was Lolita about hope? Was Full Metal Jacket about hope? Was The Killing about hope? Have you seen this eulogy he's talking about, Sean?
No,
I haven't seen it either.
I like the fact they did have to ignore The Shining from there because Stanley Kubrick actually said that is a movie about hope. Like that's the thing.
But
He
he
actually,
said the Shining's about hope.
yeah, he's like there's a part where Jack Nicholson said that like Stanley Kubrick said that the film that talks about the afterlife has to be a hopeful picture.
That's not The Shining.
Yeah, I know, but that's because Stanley Kubrick's fucking crazy. So,
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
yeah, but I haven't seen this eulogy, but I'm sure it meant something because I mean, here's the thing: he was making AI, which is somewhat hopeful. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
film.
Kubrick's idea.
Brilliant
Yeah.
film.
all right.
Was Steven Spielberg's company sued by an African American woman who claimed that Amistad was based on her writing? Was this African American woman suddenly happy with Steven Spielberg after he deposited a lot of money into her bank account? Does the
Oh
amount of
boy.
does the amount of money taken in by people determine happiness in this culture? Is the earth an unlimited resource, or is there
Thank you, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh God. Keep going.
Is the earth an unlimited resource, or is there a definitive quantity for people to exploit for gross amounts of money? When a capitalist invokes the word hope, does he speak of the continued escalation of his earning power without being stopped? Could this hope be an illusion? Are the ice sheets of the Arctic and Antarctic shearing and melting off? Could negative growth population possibly help solve this problem? Is it one child per two people negative growth population? Would Steven Spielberg ever support the idea of negative growth population within the medium? Have the goals of Freemasonry, as encapsulated by the back half of the dollar bill, succeeded? Has a megastate of greed been created? Did DreamWorks, the mega corporate entity co-owned by Steven Spielberg, consider paving over the last remaining wetland in Southern California to create a studio? Does Steven Spielberg feel comfortable emasculating the natural? Is climbing the Alps or riding the Matterhorn roller coaster in Disneyland more attractive to Steven Spielberg? Is the theme park mentality of our culture, which is made to feel right and moral by the propagandizing movies of Steven Spielberg, helping to destroy individual thought processes and emasculate the remains of the earth? Is it possible that the Columbine shootings would not have occurred if Steven Spielberg never
We're
waived his
suddenly just
future?
going back to Columbine now?
Well, he has to. It's an essay. He has to bring it back to his original
Yeah,
point.
he has to bring it all together.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the Columbine shootings would have not occurred if Steven Spielberg hadn't waved his putrid stench upon our culture, a culture he helped homogenize and propagandize? No, that's not possible.
Wait, is that it?
No.
Of course it's
We're
not.
almost done. We're in the home stretch. Would the culture benefit from Steven Spielberg's murder, or would it be lessened by making him a martyr? Would the people then begin to realize their lives had become less banal and more interesting due to his departure? Because I think it's possible a beautiful piece of non-literal music could well be written by an angry victim once Steven Spielberg becomes a corpse. It could be that this angry victim of a more banal and ruinous propaganda will have written an anthem signaling a new era, a new thought process, a new music, and a new culture that is desperately needed in the coming days and forevermore. The one question lingering before this new utopian culture may very well be, what is it?
Did you just advocate the murder of Steven Spielberg?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
This
He's
was like
advocating for the murder of a man.
the Bush years. You can get away with it. So. Oh
Like,
Jesus
that kind of stuff
Christ!
could, like, jeez.
It would be a utopia if Steven Spielberg was murdered. That's his argument.
I was
Which
gonna
is
do
not
a whole.
true.
I was gonna do a bit like when you ended this like essay where I was gonna look on my phone and be like, oh my god, Twitter just said that like Steven Spielberg died. Just to be like, just
Oh.
freak you guys out. Like, no, seriously, you gotta look this up. Like Steven Spielberg just died. Like, this is such a weird coincidence. And then I'd just be like, nah, just playing with you guys.
Yeah, that's probably smart. That'd be probably too tasteless. With an essay that's already super tasteless.
He was murdered by Crispin
terrible.
Glover.
It was terrible.
He was murdered by a horde of rats.
Yep. Tear it. Then the two of us need look no more.
Steven Spielberg was last seen walking into a mysterious chocolate factory.
That's the that's the last role I even remember him in. Like, that's the weirdest thing when your last role that anyone remembers you
Is
is
an
a
epic
shitty.
movie.
It's
He was in
a
Alice in
shitty Willy
Wonderland.
Wonka. Like,
He was in Alice in Wonderland.
oh shit, and he was great in that too. Honestly,
I never saw the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, but I remember it being a big deal.
It was.
I remember him being a big part of that movie, and it's actually not that bad of a movie. Like, I know people probably rag on it because it's obvious that, like, Tim Burton would make an Alice in Wonderland movie, but like Crispin Glover's great in it. So
Yeah, we still like Crispin Glover, even though
Do
what?
we?
What?
Do we?
Why would you
Do we
say that?
now?
Why would you say that after reading this thing that you wrote, Goosey? Like,
I did not write this.
I know. I'm
You
just
say we still like Crispin Glover. Do we though?
I think he's a pretty cool guy. I'd hang out with him.
Really? After listening to that, really?
I
Hey,
am just
hey,
why.
is he secretly a genius? Is this have we all been propagandized? What is
No.
it?
I fucking trip hop. I Portishead and like fucking DJ Crush. God,
He's,
fucking damn it.
at least we know he's kind of a hack now. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Would you want to see
some-
his, if he
Yeah.
comes into town with his movies? Would you go?
no.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
I
just to hear
would.
the craziness of this, like, it'd be like going to see a Derek Savage movie in the theaters because you know
Yeah.
that the Q&A would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Have you ever seen that? There was a clip of on the Trevor Moore show, Derek Savage went on there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and then you just see Pete Holmes laughing because Derek Savage is describing Cool Cat stops a school shooting.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Imagine I love that Trevor Moore knew exactly what he was doing, being like, I'm gonna bring on Derek Savage on here, and he's just gonna be taken seriously enough, but Pete Holmes is just gonna be absolutely losing his shit next to him.
Yeah.
All right. So, real quick, everybody just say, what do you think was the most offensive or insane thing that Crispin Glover said in that essay?
Oh,
That it ended.
God. Let me go back. Let me go back and count.
I think my answer is the 6 million. That was
That's mine too,
ridiculous.
honestly.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part because that's actually kind of clever. Like, that's
Listen,
a clever thing to say. Just like, was it the 6 million Jews or was it like the 6 million in his
Million he got
pocket?
from like revenue
it's like,
or something.
clever one. But I would say just I don't know what was the most offensive part because the
I don't
movie's
know
more
either because there's like so many.
because here's the thing, the movie's probably more offensive than this.
It has
Like,
blackface.
it has blackface. It has like again Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome fucking.
It has real snails being killed on
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. It's like fucking L or whatever that movie is. It has Johnny Rebel songs
Here's
playing.
the thing. It's like
What's it, Jack?
this doesn't even this doesn't even sound like a real essay. It sounds like a parody of this kind of essay.
Right? But no, this is just fun.
If this was a parody, it'd be one thing. Just the fact that it's dead serious makes it that much worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's better that it's serious. If it was like a joke, I think I would probably have less respect for it because it'd be like, okay, it's supposed to be a joke essay, but it's like, but now that it's serious, it's like, oh my god, this person is actually unhinged enough to be saying this sort of stuff. Like,
Yeah, this guy clearly needs help.
like if it was a joke, it would be like, oh, it's that sort of post irony shit that it's like, okay, it's just some postmodern BS that Dasha from Red Scare came up with. But like now that it's like Crispin Glover, like fucking Willie Wanker or whatever he was in that movie.
I think it was just Willie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Willie, because
Yeah.
dick. But like, but now that knowing that Willie, like Mr. fucking Back to the Future, is just like, I'm going to do the most anti-Semitic, like culture war bullshit that I could think of.
This is what happened to George McFly after he became a best-selling writer. He just lost his mind.
Let me just tell you one thing. I hate the ending to Back to the Future. Like, legitimately, it ruins the movie for me because of how fucked up it is. Like, imagine, like, let me just do a little tangent here.
Like the ending of the series or just the first one?
The first one, because here's the thing. The first one, it ends with him having changed so much from the past that now his brother is, like, successful and has a job. His parents look much better. Biff is cleaning their car, which is weird that they're having the fucking rapist of the wife like now washing the car, but whatever. But the fucked up part about it is that now Marty has no idea of his life up to that point. Like the entire memories that he has of his life are non-existent now. So he has to now go through life not knowing anything that happened for the past 17 years of his life because it's all new memories.
I agree. That is weird.
But here's my thing about the ending of Back to the Future. It's like, how come like George and Lorraine, they never seem to realize, hey, this kid who we eventually gave birth to, he looks really similar to the
I
kid that
think
got us
George
together
knew.
that got us together when we were in high school.
I think George knew because
Uh,
remember he's a huge sci-fi guy.
yeah, I was
I
about
think
to
he can
say.
figure it out.
Yeah, no, he was using his powers of masonry to actually figure out that, oh, this guy went back in time. It's probably a Jewish conspiracy or whatever he
Ugh.
thinks.
That's what I was saying. If Doc recognized him from the past, then obviously like they should have too.
Well,
Mhm.
I guess, but like, God, yeah, that's the thing about time travel movies is that they never like. This is why I like films like The Girl Up Through Time, which deals with consequences, or like Bill and Ted, which deals with none of them, and so that's what
No,
makes them
it's
great.
just yeah, it just doesn't care about the that kind of stuff.
But like Back to
Mhm.
the Future is supposed to be like kind of serious, so it's like you think about how fucked up the ending is for like
I was
Marty
saying about a lot of
psychologically.
I was saying about a lot of travel stuff in general. No matter how good the story is, there's always gonna be something that doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Ray Bradbury story where they step on the butterfly and now fascism is in power, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I'm glad I can come on the first episode and like ruin Back to the Future for everyone. More
No,
so
No,
than
no,
Crispin
you didn't
Glover
ruin it,
did.
but you didn't ruin Back to the Future for me. I still love that movie.
Oh, I still love it, even with the weirdness of it, like just fucking up Marty psychologically, having
yeah.
white people start rock and roll.
Yeah.
Uh, God.
That's one of my favorite movie experiences is when I saw like Back to the Future in the theater back in 2013 because the audience for that movie was great.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I'm
a
sure.
packed house. People were laughing, they were cheering, they were applauding. It was a great experience.
Speaking of Ernest Cline, have you ever seen the documentary about the burial of the Atari cartridges for ET, where Ernest
No.
Cline is in the movie and he shows up, and it's out of all the stuff, even with the weirdness of the like 80s capitalism of the film, like Ernest Cline is probably the biggest. Like he goes to the burial, like where they're like digging up all the cartridges. He's like, I think in a DeLorean maybe, and he has like an ET puppet next to him, and I'm just like, this is the biggest piece of shit I have ever seen in my life. Like, not even like a bad person, just like if you're this much of a fucking nerd, like you're just a piece of shit to me.
Oh, those
So,
fat piece of
Yeah.
shit.
like, I mean, not even counting all the masturbation scenes in Ready Player One or whatever.
Oh, fuck me.
That's the only thing I know about Ready Player One is the masturbation scenes.
I have the book. You want me to read some of them?
No, I'm done with reading for today. So.
I read Ready Player One this earlier this year, and God, it's what an interesting book.
Yeah, it's that reference. It's like the sort of like Seltzerberg films where it's just like, hey, we know this thing, and so that's the joke, or that's the cool thing about it is that we know this thing.
Yeah, it's like that and Doug Walker. Like the reference is the only thing that people, and also like Family Guy, where
Yeah,
it's people like it because like, oh, it's that thing I like. It's the Space Jam 2 of books.
I still can't wait to see that because like I love the fact that someone put in something from that band Ken Russell film The Devils. Like they put in one of the nuns, they put in the Droogs, they put in. I'm just waiting for them to put in just more characters like fucking
Yeah.
That
Tommy
movie
Lee Jones is Two Face.
that
Like
movie looks so
it's not supposed
bizarre.
to be good because here's the thing: the first Space Jam was fucking terrible. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
also
the first
ruined
movie
that
didn't get
for
that
people.
much good reviews anyway.
For anyone who's saying I'm fine with people saying that it's a good movie, but let me just also say that you're incorrect Like, you're not wrong, you're just incorrect, and you're just like remembering that this movie existed, and it's cool because it's these two things that you like. So
Now I know it may seem impossible to watch movies wrong, but you're watching movies wrong.
Fuck off. Fucking Patrick Willems, another enemy of the podcast.
well, I love this. We're already getting enemies of the pod on this show.
Wait, Sean, have you seen that video?
I don't care.
As soon as it's
I don't care.
as soon as we're done, like one thing you need to watch, we'll send you the link in the chat, but it's called "Shut Up About Plot Holes."
I'll probably send you back the video that I send Goosey, where it's the clip from SpongeBob of Mr. Krabs saying, "I don't have time for that. I've got a life." So, because that's the thing, like all these like movie stuff. Like I'm glad that Goosey has something to be mad about, but I just have no interest because I've lived that through my teenage years when I was watching fucking Nostalgia Critic and all these people. But I've been burned on them so much that I'm just like, I don't have time for this Cinema Sins, Mr. Enter bullshit or whatever it is.
Oh, I'm with you on Cinema Sins. I don't watch that.
I love the fact that like this is like Cinema Sins is the one acceptable punching bag because directors get mad about it.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Vogt Roberts and then James Gunn and then Rian Johnson are just like we're just gonna bully this like one YouTuber who's like I guess somewhat successful. Well, probably very successful because I've seen people wear merch of Cinema Sins in real life. But like they're just like we're going to go as these people who make these billion-dollar franchise movies. We're just going to bully this one person because he just didn't understand a single goddamn thing about the movie. So I like that.
Yeah.
God.
All right. So, we ready to wrap it up?
Yeah. What did we solve in this mystery? This horrible like plot line that we had to tack on at the end of the episode.
Nothing.
We discovered that Crispin Glover has lost his mind
and hates the Jews. Yeah. Or at least one Jew. Just at least one Jew.
Yeah, one in particular that he really doesn't like.
Between 1 and 6 million and one. Like, that's the ones that he hates.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you cut that out, just remember that you read that fucking essay on this, and that's more offensive than anything I've said today.
Yeah. I agree.
I'll probably be more offensive than like a lot of stuff we might say in the future.
Oh my fucking god! At least I got one of the things that I was.
I'm glad we saw.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was saying at least I got one of the three things I was going to talk about on. So.
Yeah.
All right. You can have those other two next time.
Oh my god! Yeah, I can't wait for the fucking next time. I can't wait to hear what essays you bring to the table next time.
Other bizarre shit I can find. Yeah.
God.
Well, you've already exposed me to so much in the past, so I don't know how you can top it this time.
So I think we've broken. So keep on riding on the pale horse, and we'll
fuck off.
And we'll invite you back to the Phantasm Sex Shop next week. See ya.
And stream My First Girlfriend on iTunes.